Welcome back. The next part of our journey across Canada was from Nanaimo on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, to Calgary, Alberta. It was a journey that took nearly 1,000 miles and 5 nights, with 3 nights camping and 2 nights in a hotel. We had a really nice spot at Cultus Lake in British Columbia, and I was really quite proud of my camp setup. We had a nice night around the campfire, and the first night sleeping in the van. Well, when you go from a king-size bed to a 4x6 sleeping platform, it was comical at the least. Alright, so here's the situation. We had a great night. Sorry for the hand. Here's the situation. We had a great night camping. Well, we camped. It wasn't a great night because, tight space. Last night at 1 o'clock it started raining. And today it's still raining. And we wanted to get on the road early, so we got up and packed the car real fast. And this is how things turned out. We just kind of threw everything in here. A lot of it was wet and went in the top box. So, oh well, that's what happened. Not great. On our third night, we stayed at a tent site, which was part of an RV park, which mostly had permanent residents, but it wasn't the nicest place. Anyway, as the night came upon us, more rain. Alright, so this is an interesting spot. This is the town of Hope. And this is where they filmed Rambo First Blood. Sorry for the wind. This might not come out. But what's really interesting is not just the town. Oh shit. Very windy. But also the fact there's Rambo here. There's statues. You guys want me to take your picture?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Alright. Okay, so this is the sheriff that fought with Rambo, apparently. We got a statue here.
Yeah.
This is the this is the sheriff's office. They held Rambo in. This is 3rd Street. There's like a whole walking tour you can take here, although it's really cold and I'm not going to do that. I think down there are the railroad tracks. Rambo flew the motorcycle over the railroad tracks down there. This is downtown street. Just riding the motorcycle on the sidewalk. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! And of course, we have a First Blood Rambo statue as well. Oh, zoom out. $1982. God. They got a whole park built around this place now. It wasn't like that before. So that's kind of it. Rambo, First Blood. This is just all private property owned by a family, I suppose, but it's an attraction. They got like a whole restaurant, kids play area. It's just a nice little area. Cashing in on family legacy, I suppose. All right, suspension bridge. Oh no. Oh, I feel like Indiana Jones. Okay, this is it's not Niagara Falls, but it's pretty impressive. Very cool. Gotta go down those. Oh man. Let's go down those stairs. Feeling kind of small. Loud. So loud. Today was an interesting day. We started off with rain. Of course, we camped again, and it rained on us starting around 10 p.m. and it was raining when we left this morning, but we learned our lesson from the last one. And we packed everything away before we went to bed, so nothing was really wet that we cared about. So we took our time, we had some coffee, we got on the road. This was in just outside of Abbotsville, I guess? Abbotsford, which is, we stayed in a tiny little hamlet called Knutson. So we got on the road, and we took our time and drove through the rain for the most part up the Trans-Canadian Highway, headed east. We stopped at a waterfall, which was cool. This is a suspension bridge going over the waterfall, which was cool. Got a nice hike in, which is, of course, it's Canada, so it's stairs. That's the hike, apparently. At least the tourist hikes are all stairs. And then we came here to Revelstoke and had lunch. Actually really kind of a late lunch, almost dinner time. It's about 4 o'clock, and then we came to our hotel, which is a really nice hotel with a real nice view on this balcony. Definitely well deserved after the couple of hard nights that we've had with the rain and the camping situation. camping situation's been hard. Not a good way to start it with Jackie. So my view right now, if I can spin this around, get up off the balcony. Nice mountain range. Snow-capped mountains. It's nice and quiet. The wind's not blowing. We're on the back side of the hotel, so there's no wind. So that's nice. And I'm sitting here having my favorite beverage, coffee, at the Coast Hillcrest Hotel. Can you tell? So tomorrow is a long journey over the Rockies and into Cochrane, Alberta, where we're going to stay for, I think, 5 days. And a nice Airbnb, catch up on some laundry, maybe catch up on some sleep, and think about what we're going to do when we hit Calgary, because we're in Calgary for 9 days. All right, bye. As we were heading up over the Rockies, I saw a sign that said, "Last Spike." So I had to stop and see what that was about. Something I never knew, and I'm sure many of my friends in the USA don't know as well. While the USA was building its transcontinental railway, so were the Canadians planning their own. As the last spike of the US railway was driven in May of 1869, Canada was planning its own railway, with construction beginning in 1881 and the final spike driven at this point at Craigellachie, I think I said that right, British Columbia, on November 7th, 1885. Now let's do some driving. This is footage from the dash cam at hyperspeed to give you a sense of the amazing scenery along this route. We stopped at Yellow National Park Visitor Center to stretch and marvel at the color of the river. See that color? Man, that's amazing. And the views of the surrounding mountains. These roads must take a lot of abuse over the winter because there was a lot of construction and road repairs all along the way. We stopped at Rogers Pass Visitor Center, which was closed. I had pinned a number of interesting spots on the route to check out, but alas, we were still too early in the year and they were all closed. But they did have some interesting things to see nonetheless, like the cannons, which were used to take down snow accumulation, which could result in an avalanche, and also a timeline going back to the late 1800s of the receding glacier, which can be seen from this spot. Okay, back on the road. We finally arrived at a major tourist attraction that wasn't closed, Lake Louise, which was still very iced over. I didn't record any usable video here because there were just too many people all talking at once. But we did our share of being a turn-on. All right, time to get moving and get down off the mountain. Much like Colorado, as you head east of the mountains, you experience a sudden and dramatic shift to a relatively flat landscape.